All right, so maybe you're thinking about moving to the UK
Ooh, exciting.
with the whole family.
Wow, that's a big move.
It is a big move, and we're here to help you figure out all the visa stuff.
Yes, visas are important.
We're diving into an article from Fema Civil called UK Work and Family Visa, Application Process and Requirements Explained.
Catchy.
It was just published on October 25th, 2024, so it's got all the latest info.
Very important to stay up to date.
Now, the UK is really popular with professionals,
For sure.
and this article talks about why.
Fill in on us.
Great salaries, amazing quality of life, and that classic British culture.
It's a good mix.
But let's be real, the visa process can feel kind of confusing.
Yeah, a little bit.
So that's where our expert comes in.
Happy to be here.
They're going to explain the UK's work and family visa system so you know what to expect.
That's the plan.
You know, I'm curious what makes the UK so special for families. I mean, like beyond the practical stuff.
Yeah, the vibe.
Yeah, what's the vibe like?
It's funny you should ask that. The UK has this unique charm.
Okay.
It's like you're stepping into history,
Ooh,
but with a modern twist.
I like it.
So think like castles and cathedrals, but also tech hubs and museums.
So like the best of both worlds.
Exactly. You could be exploring some old ruins one day,
Cool.
and then at a football game the next.
I could get into that.
And for families, it's perfect.
How so?
Parks everywhere, lots of things to do with kids, and a huge focus on education.
That sounds pretty ideal.
Plus, imagine your kids growing up with the cute British accents.
Okay, so I'm ready to move now. Okay, but seriously, let's talk about visas.
Okay, let's do it.
This article mentioned 5 main work visas.
Yes.
Can you give us a quick overview?
Of course. So first up, we have the skilled worker visa.
Okay.
This is probably the most common one.
Makes sense.
It's for people who have a job offer in a skilled job.
So like what kind of jobs?
Big healthcare, tech, engineering, that kind of thing.
Got it.
But here's the catch-in. The job has to meet a minimum salary requirement.
How much are we talking?
Usually around £26,200 per year.
Okay, so it has to be a decent paying job.
Right, and your employer also has to be an approved sponsor.
What does that mean?
It means they've been checked out by the UK government.
Visa. So you can't just work for anyone.
Nope, it's got to be the right job with the right employer.
Got it. Makes sense. Now what about those people who are like the best of the best?
Ah, the superstars.
Yeah, the real trailblazers.
For them, we have the Global Talent Visa. This is for the top people in science, tech, engineering, arts, and humanities.
So we're talking like Nobel Prize winners and famous artists.
They don't even need a job offer to apply.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It is, but there's a big catch.
Oh, what's the catch?
It's super competitive.
Oh, I bet.
You have to prove you're at the very top of your field.
So not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not.
What if you already work for a company that has offices in the UK?
Good question.
Is there like a special visa for that?
There is. It's called the Intra-Company Transfer Visa. It's for employees who are moving to a UK branch of their company.
Got it.
We're talking senior managers or people with unique skills that are hard to find.
So the company really needs them in the UK.
Exactly. There are still salary requirements,
Right.
and the job itself has to be specialized.
I see.
Think of it like a fast track for existing employees.
That makes sense.
That's not,
We all know healthcare workers are in high demand these days.
they are for sure.
What's the UK doing to attract healthcare workers?
Well, they have special visas just for that.
Really?
It's called the Health and Care Worker Visa.
Okay.
It's for doctors, nurses, and other qualified healthcare professionals who have a job offer from the NHS, which is their national healthcare system,
Got it.
or a related organization.
So they're making it easier for healthcare workers to come to the UK.
Exactly. And if you're a doctor or a nurse,
Yeah.
you can actually apply through a fast-track process.
Wow, so they really need healthcare workers.
They do.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, last but not least, what about entrepreneurs? The people with the big ideas.
The innovators.
Exactly. What are their options?
For them, we have the Innovator Visa.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
It is, but it's not easy.
What makes it so tough?
You need a truly innovative business idea,
Okay.
and you need to be endorsed by an approved body.
So there's an extra level of scrutiny
Exactly. It has a pretty high rejection rate.
because of those requirements.
Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest route, but for the right person, it could be amazing.
So 5 very different visas each for a specific type of professional?
Yep.
Okay, my head's spinning a little,
I bet.
but I think I'm starting to get it. What about bringing your family, though?
Right?
That seems even more complicated.
You'd think so.
Right.
But the UK is actually pretty family friendly.
That's good to hear.
You have 2 main options.
Okay, what are they?
You can apply for family visas at the same time as your work visa.
So everyone gets their visas together.
Exactly. You all move to the UK as a family.
That sounds less stressful.
It is.
What's the other option?
You can apply for family reunion after you've settled in the UK.
So if your family needs more time to get things sorted,
Exactly. Or if your kids are in school.
it's good to have options. So there's some flexibility.
Definitely.
But let's get down to the details. What are the actual requirements for these visas?
Okay, so for work visas, the first thing you need is that job offer. Remember, It has to be from a UK employer who can sponsor you.
And the job has to meet all the requirements we talked about.
Exactly. No shortcuts there.
No cutting corners. What else is important?
You need to prove you can speak English
Makes sense.
well enough to live and work in the UK.
So how do you do that?
Usually you take an English language test,
Okay.
and you'll need to show you have enough money
To support yourself.
to support yourself and your family while you're in the UK.
Makes sense. And everyone has to pay the immigration health surcharge, right?
Yes, everyone, including family members.
What exactly is that?
It's an annual fee that lets you use the UK's healthcare system.
So basically, like health insurance. Exactly. It's a requirement for anyone coming to the UK on a visa.
Okay, so it's an extra expense, but it gives you access to healthcare.
Right.
What about the family visas? What do family members need to prove?
First, you have to prove your relationship to your spouse, partner, or children.
So like a marriage certificate or a birth certificate?
Exactly.
No faking it.
Nope.
What about finances and housing? Are there requirements for that?
Yes. Similar to the work visa, you'll need to show you have enough money.
To support your family.
Right. And that you have a place to live.
So you're all set when you arrive.
Exactly. It's about showing the UK government that you're ready to build a life there.
Okay, so lots of documentation, lots of proof. It's starting to feel a little overwhelming.
I know, it can be a lot.
Can you walk us through the actual application process step by step?
Of course. Maybe that'll make it feel more manageable.
I hope so.
Okay, step one is securing that job offer.
From an approved sponsor.
Right, and I'm guessing just browsing job boards isn't enough.
Probably not. What are some good resources? Well, the UK government has a job portal called Find a Job.
Okay.
That's a good place to start. LinkedIn is always a good bet.
Right.
And then there are specialized recruitment agencies.
That focus on certain industries.
Exactly like Reed and Hayes.
Okay, so there are options.
There are. It's all about doing your research and targeting your applications.
And making sure your CV is amazing.
Yes, very important.
Great advice. Okay, so let's say you've landed that dream job offer. What's next?
The next step is getting a certificate of sponsorship.
What's that?
It's also called a COS.
Okay, COS, got it.
And it basically confirms that your employer is sponsoring you.
And that they've done all the checks on their end.
Exactly. You'll need this COS to apply for the visa.
So it's like your golden ticket.
Exactly.
What happens after you get the COS?
Then it's time for the actual visa application.
Okay,
You can do this online through the UK government's website.
easy enough.
Make sure you have all your documents and everything.
Financial proof.
Yeah,
everything.
everything. And speaking of finances, let's talk about costs.
Yeah, those visa fees can add up.
They can. The application fee can be anywhere from $625 to £1,423.
Oof, that's not cheap.
It depends on the type of visa you're applying for.
And then on top of that, there's the immigration health surcharge.
That's right. Remember, that's an annual fee.
£624 for adults and $470 for children.
Exactly.
Ah.
It's a lot to think about.
Definitely. Okay, so you've submitted your application, paid the fees. What happens next?
Well, the next step is a bit different.
Oh,
You have to go to a biometric appointment.
what's that?
That's where they take your fingerprints and a photo.
Okay,
They use this to make your biometric residence permit.
what's that?
It's basically your ID card as a UK resident.
So it's like a scene from a spy movie?
Kind of.
I'm guessing after all that there's a lot of waiting.
There is. Once your application is processed, you'll get a decision.
Fingers crossed.
If everything is good and you meet all the requirements, you'll get a visa vignette. It's a sticker in your passport that lets you travel to the UK.
That's when the real fun begins.
Exactly.
What about your family? When did they apply for their visas?
If they didn't apply at the same time as you, they can apply once you're in the UK.
Okay.
They'll need to provide all their documents too.
Proof of relationship, financial info, all that.
Yep.
So they basically go through the same process,
Pretty much.
just a bit delayed.
Yeah.
What happens once they get approved? Is that the final hurdle?
Almost. The last step is for everyone to collect their biometric residence permits.
Those ID cards.
Right? Once you're all in the UK, then it's official, you're UK residents.
Wow. It's a journey.
It is.
But you've explained it so clearly, it actually feels doable.
I'm glad to hear that.
Before we get into some expert tips to make things even smoother, let's pause here for a moment. We'll be right back with more on UK work and family visas. Okay, We're back and ready to talk more about those UK work and family visas.
I'm ready when you are.
We've covered a lot of ground so far.
We have.
The different types of visas, the requirements, the whole application process.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But now I want to hear about those expert tips you mentioned.
Oh, yes, the good stuff.
What can people do to make this whole process a little easier?
Let's see. First of all, do your research.
Especially for the skilled worker visa.
Right. Don't just apply for any job that sounds interesting.
You really need to vet those potential sponsors.
Exactly. Look into their company culture.
See what their track record is with sponsoring visas.
And check out what their employees say about them online.
So it's not just about finding a job, it's about finding the right job.
Exactly. It's like dating.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
You're not just looking for any partner. You want the right partner.
The perfect match.
Exactly. And speaking of finding the right fit, let's talk about the English language test.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Don't wait until the last minute to start preparing.
There are tons of resources out there.
Online, in person, everywhere.
The more comfortable you are with English, the better.
It'll make your whole life in the UK easier.
That's true.
Okay, what else?
This one might seem obvious, but gather your financial documentation early.
Bank statements, pay slips, tax returns, all that fun stuff.
Exactly. Don't scramble for it at the last minute.
It's just added stress you don't need.
Trust me, I've seen it happen.
So being organized is key.
It is, especially with something as important as a visa application.
You're telling me, okay, any other gems?
This one often gets overlooked. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's good advice.
There are immigration lawyers and consultants who specialize in UK visas.
Oh, that's good to know.
If you're feeling lost, they can guide you through the process.
Answer your questions and make sure you're doing everything right.
Exactly. They can be a lifesaver.
Sometimes it's worth it to get a little professional help.
It is, especially when the stakes are so high.
It's like having a Sherpa guiding you up a mountain.
A visa Sherpa. I like it.
All right, last tip.
Okay, here's a big one. Be patient.
Patience is a virtue.
It is, especially with the UK visa process.
It can take a while. It can.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged if things move slowly.
Just stay organized, follow the steps, and keep your eye on the prize.
That British adventure is waiting for you.
I love that attitude.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about a lot.
We have.
Different types of visas, eligibility requirements, that step-by-step application process, and now even some expert tips.
I think we've covered it all.
But before we wrap things up, I want to go back to the why.
The why.
Why are we doing all of this? What are the key takeaways people should remember as they start this journey?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the UK visa system might seem complicated,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible.
You can do it.
Exactly. With the right preparation, a clear understanding of the requirements, and a little bit of patience, you can make it happen.
The UK wants skilled workers and talented people.
They do. They've designed this system to attract the best and brightest from all over the world.
And that includes their families.
Of course, it's not just about the individual.
It's about creating a welcoming environment for the whole family.
Exactly. The UK understands that supporting families is essential.
If they want to keep those talented people.
It's not just about work, it's about building a life.
So it's not about trying to trick the system or anything. It's
Yeah.
about proving that you meet the criteria and you really want to live in the UK.
Exactly. Be honest, be thorough, and most importantly, be yourself.
Oh, and don't forget to enjoy the process.
Yes, moving to a new country is an adventure.
Embrace the excitement and the challenge. It's going to be amazing.
It will be.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired. We've given our listeners all the knowledge they need to conquer this visa system.
I hope so.
But before we let them go and start filling out applications, I want to leave them with a question.
A question.
One last thought-provoking question. Now that we've gone through all this, what stands out to you the most?
That's a good question.
And what extra research do you think you need to do
Oh yeah, for sure.
to really make your application perfect for you?
It's all about personalization.
It is. It's a big decision, you know? Moving your whole life to a new country.
It's a big adventure.
But with the right planning and the right resources, it's totally doable.
Definitely. You know, I think it's amazing that the UK has so many different visa options.
Yeah, there's like a visa for everyone.
It shows they're really serious about welcoming people from all over the world.
I agree. It's not a one-size-fits-all system,
Right.
which can be confusing at first,
A little bit.
but it means there's a path for almost anyone.
Exactly. Whether you're a business
A
executive,
doctor, a tech whiz, an artist.
there's a visa out there waiting for you.
And they've made it pretty easy for families to come along too.
Oh yeah, that's a huge plus.
It's not just about the individual, it's about welcoming the whole family.
I think the UK gets that. Supporting families is really important.
if you want to attract and keep those talented people.
It's about building a life, not just a career.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Already.
I want to tell our listeners, don't be scared of this visa process.
It's not as scary as it seems.
We've broken it down step by step. We've shared those insider tips.
Hopefully they're helpful.
And we've talked about all the amazing things waiting for you in the UK.
So many opportunities.
Remember, preparation is key. Do your research, get your documents together.
Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
And most importantly, enjoy the ride.
Yes, moving to a new country is an incredible adventure.
We're excited for you to experience all that the UK has to offer.
It's going to be amazing.
Good luck with your applications, and we'll see you on the other side.
Cheers to that.
That's it for our deep dive into UK work and family visas.
Until next time.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep